Well, we have breaking news this morning out of Vancouver. You're getting a live look at a massive fire burning since last night at a metal shredding facility at the Port of Vancouver. Now,
yeah, this is a closer look. We're going to show you right here this next piece of video, a closer look at video that came into our newsroom this morning. And clearly the flames still burning strong. The smoke is still strong this morning. This is at Pacific Coast Shredding. That's the metal shredding facility we're talking about at the Port of Vancouver. It all started around 9 o'clock last night. Viewers called the newsroom and sent us messages saying they could smell this fire from miles away. We also reached out to Vancouver Fire for some more information. So far, though, we don't know the cause of the fire or if anyone's been hurt. We also have a crew on the way to the scene. We're going to bring you a live update as soon as they get there. All right, Rob, what do you have for us right now in the weather center?
Yeah, so it's just due west of downtown Vancouver. It's kind of in an isolated pocket itself, but absolutely, if you're in downtown Vancouver, you're seeing that billowing smoke, and to Drew and Corey's point, probably smelling that. Here's a look at our Chinook Winds Casino Resort in Lincoln City. This is the final day of no rain in the forecast. Tomorrow we start the shower chance, so take advantage of today. Really nice weather again, 53 in Lincoln City. We're not going to be perfectly clear, obviously. We are partly cloudy this morning. The Chehalem Tasting Room camera out in Sherwood, 52. Temps aren't that bad this morning, but it's going to be about 15 degrees cooler today than it has been. Here's downtown Portland with some cloudiness over the city in 52. And here's that cooler bus stop weather. Again, 50 out the door, light west winds, 60 at noon, and then it's still being way up in the 70s. We're going to stop it at about 65 degrees mid-afternoon for a temperature. Here's Chris.
All good things must come to an end, right? All right, let's get you out the door. The drive just beginning to get pretty busy. This is a look at Interstate 84, the Banfield out near Lloyd Center. That westbound commute certainly starting to tighten up a little bit there. As we look at your drive times, the drive in from Troutdale up to 20 minutes. The trip in from Hillsborough about 23 minutes. That's from Brookwood Parkway to I-405. And last but not least, from Clark County, the tail lights here tell the story. I-5 southbound slow and go, of course, from SR 500. That drive in from Main Street now, that has jumped up to 20 minutes to get you down to the Fremont Bridge. Drew?
Wish it was the tail end of the traffic problems, but
Yeah.
probably right in the middle of it.
You're right.
All right, Chris. Well, after a surprise visit to Portland yesterday, U.S. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says she expects the city and the state to provide more help in protecting Portland's ICE facility and its workers.
that's right. Catherine Cook has more on her meetings with local leaders, including Portland Police Chief Bob Day.
One of the things I've been dealing with all day here in Portland is a bunch of pansies that are elected into political office who won't make a decision to keep their citizens safe.
Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem didn't hold back Tuesday night. In an interview with Fox News, she recounted her surprise visit to Portland, where she toured the ICE facility following months of protests and clashes with immigration officers. Noem didn't offer media availability, but when she landed in Portland Tuesday morning, KGW's Kyla Boshi was waiting for her inside this private terminal.
Secretary, what do you hope to accomplish by visiting Portland today?
We hope to have peace and secure some partnerships that will keep our officers safe and allow us to enforce federal law.
Do you have any interest in speaking to Portlanders for an objective view of the situation here?
We believe the president has the right to keep every single citizen safe.
After touring the ICE facility, Secretary Noem met with local law enforcement, including Portland Police Chief Bob Day, about keeping the federal property safe.
I told them what we wanted. We wanted more security here at the building, a bigger buffer zone to keep our officers safe. We wanted to have their streets opened up again and not let the anarchists run this city anymore, that we would ask them to continue to back us up like we've been asking for instead of what they've been doing the last several months, which is just leaving our officers hang out to dry.
We did speak holistically about the need for a change in the environment and a change in behavior down there, and I'm in agreement with that.
Asked about specific changes the police bureau might make, Chief Day wouldn't disclose any, but said he's open to the possibility of bringing in more officers to patrol the area. He also said communication is the first step in resolving differences.
And we continue to strive for a shared value of safety. The Secretary obviously and understandably is very concerned for the safety of her employees, her officers, as well as the building itself.
Noem also met with Portland Mayor Keith Wilson.
Just met with the mayor, and I'm so extremely disappointed. He's continuing to play politics, did not commit to any of those promises, and said that he'd give me an answer by tomorrow. And I'm hopeful that he will.
We requested an interview with Mayor Wilson. His office opted to share a statement. It said in part, What Secretary Noem saw today in Portland matches our reports. Portland continues to manage public safety professionally and responsibly, irrespective of the claims of out-of-state social media influencers. I continue to maintain that the tactics used by federal agents at the ICE facility are troubling and likely unconstitutional. I will continue to demand that federal officers operating in our city adhere to the same high standards we require of the Portland Police Bureau. Noem said she left Mayor Wilson with a warning.
What I told him is that if he did not follow through on some of these security measures for our officers, we were going to cover him up with more federal resources and that we were going to send 4 times the amount of federal officers here.
Catherine Cook, KGW News.
The Secretary Noem also met with Oregon Governor Tina Kotek for roughly 20 minutes. Governor Kotek saying they talked about the situation at the ICE facility and that she reiterated to the secretary that it's contained to a block around the building. Here's how she summed it up.
I think it was professional and cordial. I mean, she's a former governor, so she knows what my job is. We're trying to talk to each other as people who have to make decisions and keep people safe, and I thought it was a good conversation.
Governor Kotek also expressed concerns about the use of tear gas by federal agents protecting the building, which has impacted people who live nearby.
Governor Kotek is also pushing for the demobilization of Oregon National Guard troops. The 200 members of the Guard who are currently at Camp Withicum in Happy Valley are under federal control. So the governor made her request to demobilize to the Pentagon, pointing to the temporary restraining order from a federal judge that currently blocks those troops from deployment to Portland. Tomorrow morning, a federal appeals court is set to hear a motion by the Trump administration to put a hold on that restraining order.
And while Secretary Noem was in town, she says she was also there as federal agents took a man into custody. Noem says he was in the country illegally and previously convicted of sex crimes. Now it's work Secretary Noem says protesters and local leaders are getting in the way of. The department also released a list of 10 people it says are in the country illegally that ICE recently arrested here in Portland. They include those convicted of drug and weapons charges, sex abuse, assault, burglary, and a homicide warrant. Now, in a statement, DHS officials say, quote, "These are the heinous criminals Antifa domestic terrorists are trying to obstruct law enforcement from removing from our communities." Meanwhile, immigrant advocates say ICE agents have also arrested migrants without a criminal history or those with only minor traffic violations. Now, they also add that in some cases, they were showing up to court hearings related to their immigration status.
All right, fast turn here to some breaking fast food news on this Wednesday. In-N-Out could be coming to the Portland area. We're talking about the burger chain recently buying a 71,000 square foot piece of property in Gresham over on Northeast Sandy Boulevard. That property is part of a larger industrial and warehouse development called Portland Portal 3. The video we're showing you here this morning is from the big In-N-Out opening in Ridgefield earlier this summer. It's the first In-N-Out in the entire state of Washington. So there you go. And you were there that morning, Corey
Yes,
Johnson.
that
you
was
were
a
covering
really
the
fun,
happenings.
Yes, it was a fun opening. It was great. People had a great time. So I'm excited to see another location opening pretty soon.
And Rod's keeping good track of all the locations because I kind of forgot about the one that's coming to Vancouver, but you said it's already taking shape.
Yeah, they have the outdoor structures done. It's off of East Mill Plain, so east of 205. My wife and daughter, for the first time, got in line up in the Ridgefield In-N-Out yesterday. We had burgers for dinner. And the line was down to about, I think Grayson said it was about 15 minutes is what she said in line. So things are improving line-wise up there. So that's a big thumbs up. All right, Salem Sky Camera. We've got cloudy skies over the Capitol this morning, 53 degrees. And this is pretty cloudy as well. This is from the Oregon Garden in Silverton. The Oregon Garden Resort looking out over the valley there, cloudy skies. Downtown Portland, we've got some breaks. So it's kind of a partly to mostly cloudy scene. 52 degrees is the number. The east winds are gone, so we have light west winds. All dry, no rain chances today. A mix of 40s and 50s out the door. 48 up in Vancouver, 46 Dallas and Silverton, 53 degrees in Salem. So here's our day. Back to normal, basically, here on the west side. So instead of being way up into the 70s, and even hitting 70 at the coast, today it's more like upper 50s to about 60 at the beach, low to mid 60s in the valley. It's pretty much normal. Still, though, hitting 70 in Madras and Bend today, and still hitting 70 in most spots out across eastern Oregon. Now, the shower chances still look like they start tomorrow. And as I've been saying, very limited rainfall tomorrow. Maybe no rain where you are. So still lots of dry time for your Thursday. But starting Friday, just occasional bands of rain coming through. A pretty wet weekend. I think it's going to be raining more on Saturday than not, and could be the same on Sunday. Temperatures struggling to get up to 60, and then the next dry day to follow is Tuesday. So take advantage. Partly cloudy skies, 66 today. Here's Chris.
Yeah, the wet days starting to outnumber the dry days. It's fall, right? Let's pick it up in Oregon City. The drive picking up in Oregon City, through Oregon City specifically. On I-205 southbound near 99E, the drive down towards the Abernathy Bridge always starts to tighten up this hour of a Wednesday morning commute, and it's doing that right now. 22 miles an hour is what our traffic sensors indicate there. Even slower than that at the Sylvan Hill, Highway 26 inbound. The headlights, of course, out near Skyline Boulevard. That's the eastbound drive coming down the hill and into the Vistridge Tunnel. That drive picking up a bit in drive time. 22 minutes now to get you in from Hillsborough. And last but not least, the southbound I-5 slog through North Portland. The lineup starts up around SR 500 right now. That trip in from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge, Corey, that stands at about 20 minutes at last check.
All right, Chris, thank you. Well, they're racing to emergencies, and now your phone can help to clear the way. Coming up on Sunrise, a look at the high-tech upgrade helping local firefighters get to emergencies in a safer and faster way.
Also, a quick reminder that this is the United Way's Community Impact Week. You can volunteer with others across the Portland and Vancouver area all this week, supporting local nonprofits through Hands On Greater Portland. That's the United Way's volunteer program. Sign up at unitedway-pdx.org.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
Tualatin Valley Fire and Rescue is tapping into some new technology for its engines that provide another way to let drivers on the road know when they're rushing to an emergency. So here's how it works. Within minutes of firefighters turning on their engine lights, drivers will get a message delivered to their car that lets them know fire trucks are coming their way. Transmitters on the fire engines send alerts through navigation systems or apps like Google or Waze.
So when I put on the emergency lights, it starts to activate, and so anything that's within that distance in front of us will know which way we're going. It'll know if we're taking the right, the left.
TVFNR is using the system alert on 18 of its fire rigs right now and plans to update the rest of its frontline vehicles, they say, by the end of next year.
Well, I think that that's a pretty good technological advancement.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't know about you, but whenever I'm driving, I feel like I can never tell where the sirens are coming from or when they're coming, so that'll be good.
No, you're right. The sirens are still good.
Yes.
But this is ahead of the sirens even. You'll know before you can ever hear them or see them that they're coming.
I mean, you've got to have certain things turned on in your car, obviously, and it won't work for me because I don't have any of those things turned on in my car.
You don't have the CarPlay system in your vehicle?
I don't. No.
they come with most new.
Well, I'm not. The reality is, I don't. Think,
I didn't have to go out and
I
get it.
don't
It was
think
just
it will
in the car.
interrupt my Sirius FM. I could be wrong, but I don't think it's going to interrupt my Sirius satellite.
I don't think you're giving enough credit to TVFNR.
Well, maybe it will. I'll find out. I'll find out. All right. Here's a look at our satellite picture. We've got a cool batch of air sitting out here. We've got this low developing in this area that will feed us the first shower threat tomorrow, and then the likely waves of rain coming and going basically Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So for today, final day of no rain chance. Take advantage. The really warm weather is over. We're going to be more normal today instead of 70s, 60s. And the east wind's gone. We have a light west wind. Futurecast shows partly cloudy skies this afternoon. Here's the first wave of rain tomorrow, morning Cascades. Later in the day, it's showing maybe a chance of rain in the valley. But notice this is spotty stuff tomorrow. A lot of us probably won't see any rain tomorrow, but the shower chance starts tomorrow. Now, by Friday, different story. Look, now we're in the main flow pattern around the big low that will be sitting offshore, just sending in occasional bands of rain. And the bright colors tell you there's convection going on, meaning heavy rain rates coming down as well. So that was Friday. And then that pattern perhaps even intensifies, and it's raining more than it's not on Saturday. So this does pick up some rain totals Thursday over the Cascades, picks up widespread rain totals on Friday, and then the rain machine comes Saturday, rain machine goes Sunday, and after it's all said and done, we're looking at 4 days, especially Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This is mostly 3-day totals. About a half of an inch to an inch of rain, coast and valley. And then some decent rain totals out east as well. This will be thunderstorm activity to make it 83 100ths of an inch on the gauge in Bend. So that's coming up. Hey, earlier in the show, we started off by zooming in to the moon from this camera, the Oregon Veterans Home camera in the Dalles. We've zoomed out. You can still see the harvest moon up top and the clear skies for you folks out in Wasco County looking out over the Columbia River. 44 degrees, showing a light wind this morning. It's going to be basically a near clear day when you get east of the Cascades. Here's the Warm Springs Reservation. This is Canita Hot Springs Resort, but I want to show you the clear skies. And it could still be 70 today in places like Sisters and Bend. So really gorgeous, pretty warm weather continues east of the Cascades. Here on the west side, partly cloudy to start. We stay dry. We're 52 right now. Again, we're going to be looking at temperatures in the 60s. There's Salem at 53. Cooler down in Eugene, 48 over in Bend. 7-day forecast numbers for you. A dry day, 66 today. Pretty much normal for this time of the year. The shower threat tomorrow. The likely showers or rain at times on Friday, Saturday, Sunday into Monday. And then right now, Tuesday shows up as a dry day of next week. Here is Chris McGinnis.
The raindrops are shaped like teardrops. Coincidence? Let's go ahead and pick it up on the drive through Westland. So I showed you the trip over the Abernathy Bridge a couple of minutes ago. I want to go farther south near Westland. Something looks like it's hanging up the drive just south of 10th Street. I'm not sure if we got maybe a stall or a fender bender there, but right now we're puttering along at about 13 miles an hour through the Westland area on 205 southbound. Over to Wilsonville, northbound I-5, getting busier over the Boone Bridge, of course. That's to be expected this hour of a Wednesday morning drive. Nothing out of the ordinary there. Either here on Sylvan Hill, this is Highway 26 near Skyline Boulevard. You can see all three lanes starting to tighten up a bit there. Your drive from Hillsborough at last check, 23 minutes. And last but not least, the slog out of Clark County. You know it. You love it. You probably don't. You're stuck in it every day at this hour. Right now, you're driving from Main Street to I-405. I guess this is some good news. It's holding steady, meaning it hasn't gotten any worse. Right now, it's 20 minutes to get you down to the Fremont Bridge.
All right. Thank you, Chris. And we head back to that breaking news out of Vancouver. You're getting a live look at a massive fire burning since last night at a metal shredding facility at the Port of Vancouver. You can see right there on the right side of your screen the smoke really billowing right now at this hour.
Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz is getting a closer look. He just arrived at the scene a few minutes ago. So Thomas, what else can you tell us?
Well, guys, it's a pretty extensive fire department presence here. You can see right behind us that smoke, as Corey just mentioned, just plumes and plumes of it billowing from this fire. And you can actually see they've got cranes out there picking up some of the trash, and then they're just spraying it right there. They've also got a fire truck with a large ladder just spraying it from probably 50 feet overhead. This looks like a metal scrapyard, and this is all debris where it looks like this fire has sparked. It happened around just before 9 o'clock last night. So this has been something that Vancouver Fire have been fighting for about 10 hours now, guys. Viewers also called into the newsroom and told us that they could smell the smoke from miles away. I want to give you a closer look at what this looked like overnight. This came into our newsroom early this morning. You can see the flames and the smoke. This is all happening at Pacific Coast Shredding. There's still a lot we don't know about this fire. We don't know exactly how it started, if anybody has been hurt, but still a large presence of Vancouver firefighters out here fighting it. And I think it's important to see, once again out here live, if you can see through the smoke, it looks like they have cranes just picking up debris. You can see kind of green movement behind the smoke. Those are cranes just picking up rubble, essentially, and then just having firefighters spray it. So clearly a lot of cooperation and cohesive working together to put out this fire as quickly as they can. We're waiting on a public information officer from Vancouver Fire to arrive here and maybe give us a little bit more information about how this first started, how long they expect it's going to take to fight this fire. But again, if you are here in the Vancouver area, it's not going to be surprising along the waterfront. If you see smoke this morning, this is why, guys.
All right, Thomas Schultz live for us there in Vancouver. Thank you, Thomas. Now, still to come on Sunrise, new dash cam video shows the moment a helicopter crashed onto a highway in California. Why the people on that highway are now being called heroes. Sunrise streaming live at 7 continues in just 2 minutes.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Now to your morning rush. The Trump administration wants to use tariff money to fund the WIC program, but that plan could stall since tariff revenue goes into a general treasury fund, which is currently frozen due to the government shutdown. This could be bypassed if Congress and the Trump administration pass a measure designating the tariff revenue for specific use. Former FBI Director James Comey has pleaded guilty at his arraignment this morning. The Justice Department alleges he lied to lawmakers about whether he authorized an FBI media leak. He's charged with making false statements to Congress and obstruction of congressional proceedings. And the USDA has issued a health alert for 2 HelloFresh meal kits after listeria was found in spinach. Now, the meals include cheesy pulled pork, pepper pasta, and unstuffed peppers with ground turkey. While no illnesses have been reported, customers should throw them out or return them. And that's your morning rush.
All right, take a look at this now. We're getting a new look at the helicopter crash in Sacramento, California this week that sent 3 people to the hospital. It crashed right on the freeway, and you can see from dash cam video here that several people pulled over and ran out of their cars to help. Those people are being called heroes after working together to lift the wreckage to free someone who was trapped underneath. Reporter Dana Griffin has the details.
The moment before impact. This medical helicopter comes crashing down Monday night on a busy Sacramento highway. The pilot, nurse, and paramedic ejected from the aircraft, officials say.
I have 3 victims still conscious.
One victim pinned underneath.
We held it for several minutes so the first responder could get the person out.
Video shows a heroic effort as several bystanders jump in to help.
And how were they able to get the helicopter off this woman?
Speaking to that captain, he said it took every ounce of effort from about 15 people to push that helicopter.
Luckily, the pilot managed to avoid hitting any drivers and there was no fire. Some Airbus EC-130 models have crash-resistant fuel tanks designed to prevent fires.
This situation could have been so much worse.
Officials say all 3 victims are expected to survive. And in this heart-stopping moment, gratitude for the bystanders turned heroes. Dana Griffin, NBC News.
Well, coming up in our next half hour, residents in South Portland say they're being kept awake by helicopters flying over the ice building, where the choppers are coming from and what they're doing. Plus, we have a live look out at a metal shredding facility in Vancouver where a massive fire broke out late last night. Now, Thomas Schultz joins us live next with the latest.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert, informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
We are coming up on 7:29 on your Wednesday morning drive. We pick it up on the west side, just through the Vista Ridge Tunnel. There's a little fender bender there over in the shoulder, and so that's adding to some of that eastbound slowing. I'll take you out. Well, that's not what I wanted to show you. Out near the Sylvan Hill drive, running a little thick there. Always thick on the Banfield this hour of a Wednesday morning drive. This is the live look out near I-205. 205 above, zipping from left to right. That trip in from Troutdale at last check now has jumped up to about 27 minutes. And last but not least, just to let you know, we're always watching, Rod. The cars are still there on the I-5 South commutes, 21 minutes Main Street to the Fremont Bridge.
Oh, of course they are. Good morning to you. What was partly cloudy, according to our cameras now, pretty much just an overcast sky at this hour here in the valley. There's our state capital, overcast skies, 53 degrees in Salem, at least mostly cloudy over downtown Portland, and 52. So our forecast today, it's all dry. No east wind. The east winds are gone, a light west wind, and a big cool down. Today's high only in the mid 60s. We're still tracking a return to shower chances tomorrow, and then likely rain at times Friday.
Well, we begin with breaking news this morning out of Vancouver. You're getting a live look right now at a massive fire burning since late last night at a metal shredding facility at the Port of Vancouver.
Yeah, you can see the smoke in the air from that shot. Thomas Schultz, meanwhile, on the ground live at the scene. Thomas, this fire is burning for now for at least 10 hours. So what does it look like from the ground this morning?
Yeah, a long time, right, guys? And look, this is something that they're just continuing to fight. You can actually see and hear them dumping some of the debris as cranes continue to pick up metal from what appears to be a scrapyard at Pacific Coast Shredding. And then firefighters are hosing piles of debris that are picked up by the cranes as they continue to just try to find any remnants of any fire remaining in these piles and put it out as soon as they can. I want to show you some video from last night as well, which shows this fire. Again, it's been burning since just before 9 o'clock this morning. We've actually received some viewer emails saying that they could actually smell this thing from miles away. If you are in the Vancouver area, I mean, you're going to see a pretty significant billowing of smoke near the waterfront on the port side of the waterfront here in Vancouver. And back out here live, I also want to show you one more time what we're seeing here from this fire, as there's probably a dozen firefighters continually here trying to work and contain this, and not just contain it, but put it out. I also want to show you just how far away they are from a fire hydrant here, guys. This is probably 150 yards away from the closest fire hydrant. You can see these pumps that have been stretched across the roadway here near the Port of Vancouver. All the way down there is the fire hydrant, where you can see 2, maybe 3 different pumps as they try to just bring as much water as they can. You go right back out here live. You can see just the amount of water they're using. You can see it pouring off from the ladder of one fire truck down onto the fire, another fire truck to the left, just a constant stream of hundreds of gallons of water to attack this fire as Vancouver Fire continues to just try to put it out. We don't know exactly how that started. We've asked the Vancouver Fire Department. Of course, we'll bring you all the information as we get it. Guys?
All right, Thomas Schultz live for us there in Vancouver. We're going to take a quick break from our news headlines here to check in with Rod Hill. Rod, let's talk about that Wednesday. I had to think about the day of the week, the Wednesday forecast.
It's Wednesday. Hi, everybody. Yesterday, get this, Salem 80, PDX 79, Astoria 71. Today, the big headline is the warm weather gone and we're back to normal, which means you folks at the beach will be closer to only 60 today. Kind of a mixed bag of some blue and then some cloud cover. Snookwinds Casino Resort camera, 53 degrees. Mostly cloudy over downtown Portland this morning. Temperature not bad, 52 degrees. Here's what I'm talking about, the cooler temperatures, 60 at noon. I think we'll go on to be kind of a partly to mostly sunny at times day, 65 degrees at 5 o'clock instead of nearing 80. Here's Chris.
I believe my air conditioner actually turned on yesterday afternoon.
Oh, wow.
There, yeah, how about that? All right, let's get you to the I-5 drive through North Portland. That's pretty, by the way, the colors of the trees over on the side there near the Expo Center. The drive's certainly not pretty. It's slow and steady up past the Expo Center. That southbound commute in from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge now has jumped up to about 22 minutes at last check. Over on the west side, we had a fender bender on the inbound Sunset. In fact, it's still there. It's over on the shoulder, just through the Vista Ridge Tunnel. It's adding to some of the local slowing there. So there you can see the live look at Sylvan. And last but not least, the trip on the Banfield, of course. Thick right now on 84 westbound coming in from the Gateway District. At last check now, we're just shy of 30 minutes to get you in from Troutdale to the I-5 split. Corey?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, it's now been 12 days since President Donald Trump said he was sending the National Guard to Portland. While troops from Oregon and California have mobilized, 2 court rulings last weekend have put their deployment on hold, with a federal appeals court set to hear the matter first thing tomorrow. Meanwhile, the White House is continuing to paint Portland as being war-torn, but local leaders are still trying to convey that protests, which have at times become violent, are isolated to a block or two near the South Portland ICE facility, adding that they're still under control and further federal intervention is not needed. Now, for weeks, we've been reporting on the impact of the protests on local residents in the South Portland area.
Yeah, some of them told us they've had a hard time with the noise outside the city's ICE facility, as well as the deployment of tear gas. For more on that, here's KGW's Evan Watson.
On Monday, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt claimed Portland is under siege, and then she made a recommendation for reporters.
You should also ask the people who live in Portland. We've actually heard from many members of the community who have said that this is complete civil disobedience. It's a mess. It's been loud.
So we did just that, asking Portlanders in the South Waterfront neighborhood near the ICE building what they think.
Well, it's a beautiful fall day and clearly not a hellscape.
You get half a block away from the ICE headquarters or a block away, and it's just like it always is in Portland, beautiful and peaceful and friendly.
On Tuesday, just blocks from the area targeted by federal officials for military intervention, Portlanders juggled in a park, walked their dogs, ate lunch, and enjoyed the waterfront. Henry Els brought his mom here for her birthday.
To just take the first thing that you hear and blow it out of proportion, I think does a disservice to this area and the people that actually work so hard to make it what it is. I just wish that people would bother to actually look at what it's really like here.
Richard Ekman, a Vietnam veteran, lives near the ICE facility. He said he's only bothered by the military helicopters flying at night over his home.
Take from your hat, you're a veteran yourself?
Yes.
Okay. So when you hear things like this is a war zone, what does that mean to you?
They've never seen a real war zone. I mean, it's that simple.
Every person we talked to on Tuesday laughed at the idea that Portland, and more specifically this area near their homes and workplaces, needs federal troops.
It's a great neighborhood to live in. I don't know how else to describe it.
Evan Watson, KGW News.
We've also heard from people who live in South and Southwest Portland who say helicopter noise around the ICE facility is also causing an issue. KGW's Blair Best talked with some of those people living near the South Waterfront, and she also did some digging to get answers about who's responsible for the helicopter noise.
If you live anywhere near the ICE building in South Portland, by now this sounds familiar.
Very, very loud. It's been disturbing us for, 2 weeks now?
Seemingly every night around 5 p.m.
Here we go. Yep, here we go.
The helicopters start circling.
Over and over and over again. And it's just hours of it. It's just pain in the butt.
2 nights ago that was extra low, with sometimes they have lights that shine in the windows.
And I'm not sure what the helicopters do. They just circle and make noise. What do they do?
A good question. So we reached out to the Port of Portland, which oversees general aviation activities in the Portland metro area. This alert is now up on their noise management website. It reads, "We are aware of the higher volume of helicopter and propeller airplane activity over South and Southwest Portland. This appears to be related to federal law enforcement and/or military activity and is not a development the Port of Portland can control."
Oh, it's really frustrating because there's just no, we just don't have a voice to speak out and say anything.
A Port of Portland spokesperson declined to go on camera, but said in an email that they've seen an increase in those noise complaints related to helicopters circling South and Southwest Portland. They went on saying military planes and other federally operated aircraft routinely fly into and operate at our airports. They do not typically notify the Port of Portland when they're doing so, as we do not manage or control the airspace. It is not our role to approve, control, deny, or keep an inventory of military or federal agency aircraft operations at our airports.
I think that's terrible. I thought that we were a city and a state that had autonomy from government overreach.
Huge question mark.
Ron Schmidt is on the Port of Portland Citizens Noise Advisory Committee.
And certainly I am concerned about the noise for the citizens of Portland.
Ron says aviation noise can have long-term effects on the neighborhoods below.
Over time, it certainly can have a psychological and ultimately a physical damage.
Waste of taxpayer money, to be honest.
In late September, the FBI arrested 4 people for shining a laser at what the agency said was a Customs and Border Protection helicopter conducting law enforcement in the skies over Portland.
I feel like that's disturbing the peace. Whoever's protesting down by ICE, that's a 1-block area, they have the right to protest. The police seem to have it under control. And these helicopters, I don't understand. It seems like an intimidation tactic, and it needs to stop.
Again, that was Blair Best reporting for us this morning. We did reach out to Customs and Border Protection twice about this and also reached out to ICE, but haven't heard back from either.
Halfway across the country, hundreds of Texas National Guard members are now on the ground in Illinois preparing for deployment to Chicago. Video shows troops carrying rifles at an Army Reserve Center about an hour outside the Windy City. The governor of Illinois says he wasn't given a heads up about this. A federal judge is set to hear that state's effort to temporarily stop the deployment tomorrow. Meanwhile, earlier this morning, President Donald Trump said in a post on Truth Social, quote, "Chicago mayor should be in jail for failing to protect ICE officers." Governor Pritzker also. According to NBC, in recent days, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker said he believed that President Donald Trump should be removed from office.
Closing arguments are expected to begin today in the trial of a local cannabis store worker who's accused of killing 2 suspected robbers. This all stems from a shooting last year at La Mota in North Portland. Court documents say 3 men entered the store and pointed guns at 34-year-old Jason Steiner. You see him right there on the screen. Steiner allegedly got out of the store, then came back to La Mota's drive-up window, fired inside, and killed 2 of the men. Steiner has already pleaded not guilty. Police are also looking for a man they say robbed a bank in Oregon City back in July. Investigators didn't specify which bank, only that the robbery happened near Malala Avenue and Warner Milne Road. Not a lot of details on the suspect either, only that he's between 5'10" and 6 feet tall, and he escaped on an e-scooter. Anyone with information about this should contact Oregon City Police.
Well, time for a live look outside. This is our Chinook Winds Casino camera out in Lincoln City. A beautiful day out at the coast. Let's check in with Rod Hill for a look at your forecast. Now, Rod, it's going to really start to feel like fall as we get further into the week because it's going to rain.
Yes, rain chances return tomorrow. It's been a pretty good run of dry weather. The warm weather, talking 70s, even 80 in Salem yesterday, that has now ended. Today, all dry, but temperatures will be closer to what you would expect, and that means an afternoon comfortably in the 60s. We have a lot of cloudiness around, but there are breaks. So overall, as I look at everything, it's kind of partly cloudy outside this morning. This is out in Washington County, the Reserve Vineyards and Golf Club in Aloha. Temperatures aren't bad this morning, enough cloud cover to help hold things up somewhat. 52 degrees. The east winds are gone. The wind direction is now west-northwest. Other temperatures, there are some 40s. I mean, Vancouver, good morning, 48 for you. Happy Valley also at 48 degrees. Silverton, you're at 46, also 46 degrees down in Corvallis this morning. Our dog of the day is a beautiful one. This is Kona. Dog of the day at kgw.com is the email address. Attach your dog's photo and their smile and the name, and your dog will become our dog of the day. That's Kona this morning. All right, weather map. Still 70s now when you get east of the Cascades. And for the most part, still a clear sky day east of the Cascades. So if you're going over to Central Oregon, Bend 71 at 5 o'clock. Gorgeous day, 73 in John Day. Here's the dry cool down on the west side, only in the 60s up and down I-5 and only about 60 at the coast. If anything, on these 7-day numbers, I may be a little bit too warm. So I think this would be kind of the warmest scenario. 66 today, shower chances start tomorrow, but lots of dry time tomorrow, and maybe where you are, no rain. But Friday, I think we're all going to get caught in occasional bands of rain coming through. Same thing Saturday, Sunday into Monday, as temperatures this coming weekend will mostly be in the 50s with the passing rain shots. Here's Chris.
Rod, thanks for that. Let's take you over to the west side. This is a live look out near Murray Boulevard. As Rod mentioned, you can kind of see some of the cloud cover out there, and you can certainly see the eastbound lineup. The one thing that the drivers are not combating today that they have the last couple of days, bright sun glare, right? So I guess that's the trade-off. That helps, but not much. Eastbound Highway 26 still pretty slow, as is the I-5 South Drive. That's still about a 22-minute ride to get you in from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. Let's go back over. Let's see. We are actually. This is not the right. Don't look at the map here. I've got the camera in the wrong spot. This is I-205. It's over on the east side near Foster. That northbound commute's actually pretty heavy back towards Johnson Creek Boulevard, and that, of course, is a normal slow spot for this hour of your Wednesday morning commute. Corey, back to you.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, some good news for flyers. American Airlines is getting rid of its bag sizers. Plus, no more loud commercials, at least in California. Those stories and much more of your consumer headlines coming up in just 2 minutes.
Also, a reminder about this year's KGW Great Toy Drive. We're not kicking off the drive just yet, but we are asking for people to sign up and help out. You can collect toys for us if you're a business owner, if you're part of a local school organization, maybe you're throwing a huge holiday party. Anyone can help us collect. Just go to kgw.com/toy, and when you sign up, we will send you the official Great Toy Drive collection kit.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
And we head back to that breaking news this morning out of Vancouver. You're getting a live look right now at a massive fire burning since late last night at a metal shredding facility at the Port of Vancouver. You can see the flames and the smoke at Pacific Coast Shredding. Now, it started before 9 o'clock last night. Viewers called us and sent messages to the newsroom saying they could smell the fire from miles away. And we also reached out to Vancouver Fire for more details and more information, but so far we don't know exactly what caused the fire or if anyone's been hurt. But that live video right there, you can see the smoke really billowing for us at this hour. Our Thomas Schultz has been out there for the last several hours giving us updates, so we'll continue to work to learn more.
Yeah, more from Thomas a little bit later. Right now, though, we want to take a break from that story for your consumer headlines on this Wednesday. We start with Domino's. Domino's is getting a fresh look. The pizza chain is rolling out a new logo, brighter colors, updated uniforms, and redesigned boxes. And the rebrand also includes a new jingle by country artist Shabuzi.
Ooh.
I'm not familiar with Shabuzi's work.
I am. He does great work. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, Shabuzi helping out with Domino's rebrand, and the company says it's going to take this makeover global starting next month. How about American Airlines? They're also making headlines this morning because they're removing metal bag sizers from the gates. Instead, gate agents are going to use their judgment to decide if a bag is too big to carry on. They're going to use their eyeballs for this now, and they're also instructed to give customers the benefit of the doubt. How about that?
Oh, good.
Yeah. Yes.
That's not going to go well.
We the customers are winning.
No.
They said that the sizers for the bags will still be available in check-in areas. United, by the way, made a similar change 5 years ago. So way to catch up, American Airlines. And then last consumer headline here, California is banning loud commercials on streaming platforms like Netflix and Hulu. A new law signed by Governor Newsom requires ads to match the volume of shows and movies. It will take effect next July and is modeled after a federal law that already applies to TV broadcast. And with that in mind, I say, hey, Rod, what's the weather going to be like today, I ask out loud?
I'm going back to my my flight attendant days.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
And I'm like, ma'am, it's a refrigerator. You can't bring that on.
Going back to the
the check-in store.
Yeah, I don't think it'll go well. Like you said.
But you know, with all the fees now and everything, I mean, there's more pressure. I mean, as a consumer, you want to, if you can at all carry it on, you want to, right?
Of course.
I'm afraid what kind of bag of worms I'm going to open up here. But in your years of being a flight attendant, did you ever have like a face-to-face shouting match with a customer, Rod?
No.
Okay.
Oh, good.
I didn't
Good.
think so. I just thought I'd ask.
No.
You're so sweet. How could you? I don't.
Be careful. He's not always what he seems.
I've worked with a lot of people on the show. No one has ever referred to me as sweet. So thank you, Corey.
You're welcome.
Drew, nice to see you as always. Here's a look at our rain potential map. She called me sweet. All right, here we go. We've
her 2 weeks if she wants to retract that statement in 2 weeks.
All right, that's fair. Drew says 2 weeks. Corey can retract her thoughts. All right, this is how much rain could be falling in the days upcoming. Remember, tomorrow's day one of starting the rain chance. I still think tomorrow, a lot of us won't see any rain, but there probably will be a shower at some point showing up on radar. So really the oh my goodness, it's pretty wet outside pattern, that is Friday, Saturday, Sunday into Monday. This shows you rain totals upcoming through Sunday. And notice it's a half of an inch to about an inch, potentially coast and valley. Some decent rain amounts of maybe over a half of an inch of rain in Central Oregon. This shows Madras at 52 100s. Then maybe nearing an inch out near the Blues on LeGrand at 97 100s. Futurecast is going to get into this in a second. I believe I got that coming up. Here's the cool air mass we are now feeding off of. So a pattern change today, yes, but we continue to be dry. Futurecast shows partly clear skies out there. Here's the first rain chance tomorrow. Cascades, here's a rain chance later in the day. Valley, we'll see. Here comes the waves of rain Friday. That's going to be back to just wet weather with everybody getting some pretty good wetting. Upper level low offshore. You saw the rotation. We'll be sending the rotating rain bands coming up, pushing south to north across our area. Certainly thunderstorm chances will open up east of the Cascades, maybe here on the west side as well, and probably along the coast especially because you folks are going to be closest to that low center. So again, shower chance starts tomorrow. Wet pattern really starts Friday, Saturday into Sunday. Here is one of our Timberline cameras. We're looking zoomed in at Jefferson and Three Sisters right there off of the slope of the volcano, looking down at the Three Sisters in Central Oregon. Still see a little bit of a breeze. The wind direction today will mostly be west. Currently some gusts to 20 up at the lodge. And a reminder, if you are traveling east of the Cascades, it's still clear and it will be warmer today out east, Central Oregon and Eastern Oregon than it will be here on the west side. So here are the clear skies from Sun River Resort, the camera back of their lodge. And then you get into our area, it's partly cloudy and 52 degrees. Other temperatures, Bend this morning is at 48. It's 27, cold morning out in Burns. So 70-degree highs in Bend, 70-degree highs out in Pendleton, Portland about 66. Shower chance tomorrow, likely rain at times Friday, Saturday, Sunday into Monday. Right now, Tuesday is our next dry day coming up. Here is Chris McGinnis.
Rod, let's take it to North Portland. I-5 up near the Expo Center, all 3 lanes slow and steady coming off the Interstate Bridge. Right now, you're tripping from Main Street to the Fremonts, averaging about 25 minutes. So that's about as slow as we've seen it so far this morning, and it probably will get a little thicker yet before we see those numbers coming down a bit. Let's head down to Tualatin. This is I-5 at the 205 interchange. That is the 205 ramp to southbound 205. That is zipping along just fine. Down below it, though, that's I-5 north, and of course that is starting to tighten up as well. And last but not least, this earlier fender bender we showed you on the Sunset. This is inbound just past the Vista Ridge Tunnel. It's over on the shoulder, but it is kind of adding to some of that local slowing on Highway 26. So with that in mind, that drive now is back up to about 35 minutes from Hillsboro to downtown. We'll be right back.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
This should be a wake-up call as far as our security presence in the Capitol.
That's the message from one Washington state lawmaker after a man broke into the Capitol building earlier this week. Surveillance cameras captured a car parking on a flower bed outside the Capitol, and they also showed the suspect inside, knocking over signs, flags, and statues. He also lit a fire in the reception room. Capitol security alerted State Patrol, and they had the suspect in custody 11 minutes later. It's worth noting here, the state budget signed this year by Governor Bob Ferguson cut $3 million from security programs on the Capitol campus. The agency that runs state properties is calling on the governor to restore those funds. All right, let's talk about what's coming up at 8 o'clock here on KGW+. We're going to have more on this morning's breaking news in Vancouver, where a large industrial fire continues to burn. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz will bring us the latest. Also coming up at 8:30.
So when you hear things like this is a war zone, what does that mean to you?
They've never seen a real war zone.
People who live in South Portland near the ICE facility say not much has changed in their day-to-day lives amid protesting and the threat of the National Guard coming to the Rose City.
We'll wrap up this hour of Sunrise with a live look outside downtown Portland on this Wednesday morning. Of course, we'll also have more from Chris and Rod in our 8 o'clock hour with the latest on traffic and weather. Rod's talking about cooler temperatures today and, of course, rain moving in tomorrow.